Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, and welcome if you are new here. Today we are doing a paint by number kit, and as you can see here, this one is of red rose. If you have purchased this kit and you are here to follow along, thank you for purchasing it, and I'm glad that you are here to paint along with me today. If you haven't heard of my paint by number kits before and you just happened upon this video, check out the link in the description below to my website where you can see all of the different paint by number kits that I sell, where you can pick up one of your own. These paint by number kits are unique because they are designed by me and they are done on wood canvases, and I burn the lines in using a wood burning tool before shipping them out to you. So instead of just having lines drawn on or printed on or something like that, these are hand burned into these wood canvases by me before I send them out. So if you have purchased this in your box, you should have received the canvas. You should have received 2 paint brushes, one that looks like this, that's a little bit more of a flat end, and then one in a nice little fancy tube here that is used more for details. Probably use that in this smaller part here in the rose. You also should have received a painting guide. I know this one isn't isn't the one for this painting, and yours will be larger than this. And then there will be painting tips on the back as well, but you've probably already seen this, and that's where you knew that you could come and follow along with me here on my channel. You will have also received the paints in paint canisters with the appropriate numbers to them. This one only has 5 colors, so you will only be receiving 5, but there will be plenty of paint for you. And lastly, there will also be a little sawtooth hanging mechanism that you can attach to the back of this if you would like. So you can hang it on your wall. I know some people prefer to display them on little easels as well. And you can get little wooden easels, even just at the dollar store, at least here in Alberta at Dollarama. I've gotten small, good enough size easels that will fit one this size. So here you can see the paints that we're going to be working with today. I'm not going to be working out of those little paint canisters. I'm just going to put these onto this palette that I have here to the left. Something that, if you read the painting instructions and tips on the back, you will probably want to have something that you can dry your brush off with. This is just an old t-shirt cut up, and you'll need something to rinse and wash your brush in. I usually just use mason jars filled with water. I've got one up here it's already a little bit green from a painting I was doing earlier today. But you can use, just a cup, a plastic throwaway cup, whatever works for you. And yeah, that should be all we need to do. So let's just let's go right into this. We're gonna start with I'm gonna start with the leaves and then work my way in, outside going in. You can kind of follow whatever order. You can follow the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on your paint canisters if you'd like, but if not, it's totally up to you. Art is something that's very subjective, and I want this to be a relaxing experience for you. So go in whatever order you would like, and we'll get started here. So whenever I'm painting with these wood burned lines in, I like to kind of turn my canvas so I can get my brush going right along the edge of it. It's easier that way for me, and I'm not spilling over into the lined area there. You're going to notice that different colors that you have are some of them are pretty opaque and some are pretty transparent. The greens are quite transparent, which means we'll probably want 2 or 3 layers of these greens on here. Unless you like the look of them a bit more transparent, being able to see the wood underneath, then that's fine too. You can leave it like that. That is also up to you. this is your first time doing any painting, today we're using acrylic paint, and acrylic paint is water-based, so there's no paint thinner or anything you need to use, and you can just clean your brushes and everything after just with soap and water. Most of the time I just rinse with water good, and that's all that needs to be done. Only if stuff is really stuck on do I ever use soap. Sometimes I'll use the Dawn dish soap, and that actually seems to work pretty well. Make sure you just go at your own pace. If I'm going too slow though, you definitely feel like you can go faster. If I'm going too fast, don't feel like you need to try to keep up. You can pause as we go along. You can actually slow down the video if you click on the little playback settings at the bottom of the video there. Might make my voice sound a little bit weird, but that's okay. My goal is for these to be relaxing for you and fun for you to do. And I hope that you enjoy painting this as much as I've enjoyed creating the design and doing everything like that. Art hasn't always been a passion of mine, but it has been for the last 7 years, thankfully. And I'm happy to, spread the joy of painting with other people. I guess I didn't really mention to start this green that we're using, and all the paints that we'll be using today are Liquitex basic acrylics, as you can see there. They're a good paint. And this specific green that we are using is called Hooker's Green Hue Permanent. Alright, and you can already see I'm touching this green up here. Nothing's coming off, so it's already dry. So I'm going to go back in right now and start adding in this second layer of green. And we'll see if 2 will be enough. We might need 3. Looks like I can tell already that I'm gonna add a 3rd layer onto this. That is 2 layers done. That layer's just a tiny bit tacky still on that one, but I'm gonna need a little bit more of this grain, so I'm just gonna bring a little bit more out here. And I don't want to bring too much, so I'm just gonna start with that for now. Alright, nothing's coming off there. Let's grab this chunk here and we'll add this layer on. I think I might need a little bit more of this grain, but that's okay. We'll get some out in just a second. Alright, there are 3 layers done on that, and I'm going to call that good. So I'm going to wipe the excess paint off here, and since I'm just doing another grain here, I'm not going to worry about rinsing off the brush yet. Usually if I'm working with the same color, but just a different tone, I don't worry about it. So this one is a light green permanent, as you can see there. And we'll get some of that out and start throwing it on. there's a paint by numbers kit that you would like me to make, maybe there's another flower you'd like me to do or something else, please let me know in the comments below or send me a message on social media or an email on my website. I'm always open to new suggestions and ideas, and I think it would be nice to receive some feedback from all of you. Alright, that green is a little bit tacky there still, so I might just leave that for a minute. Sorry if you hear my air conditioning or heat, one of the two, I don't know, turn on. That's in the background there. I'm gonna go in and do a second layer right now though. Starting back up here for these leaves. I got too much of this green out. I tried to compare it to the darker green that I did, but I think I got too much. If you ever want to switch and use that smaller detail brush, feel free to. Don't feel like you have to use this one just because I am. Just use what you're comfortable with, and that's why I decided to put two different brushes in these kits, so that you would have the choice there of what you wanted to use. Alright, there's the second layer of that one done. I'm going to call that good for those. So I'm going to get off this excess paint here and then actually rinse this one off because we're going to be switching to the reds here. I don't want to mix up my reds and my greens. Make sure when you are drying off your brush, if you're planning to use it again right away, that you dry it off good, because you don't want excess water to mix in with the paint, otherwise it waters down your paint and it spreads it thinner. So I'm just going to start with the dark red, just because I want to go darkest to lightest, I don't know. So this one is a cadmium red deep hue. And again, I probably put too much out, but that's okay. So I'm going to start, yours will be labeled obviously for you with the color guide. But I'm going to start on the outside and work my way in. And you'll notice that this color is going to be a bit more opaque than the greens that we were using, so I still plan to do 2 layers of it, but 2 layers will be sufficient. I'm just going in here and marking for myself all of the ones that I need to do here with this darker red. Alright, at this point I'm going to go back and do a second layer on those ones because these ones are dry, and then I'll break out the smaller brush to do the inner dark parts there, but I'm going to come back out here and do this second layer while I have this larger brush with this color on it. Definitely gonna need a bit more paint out here, so I'm gonna grab a bit more, plop that out here. Alright, second layer of all that red there, finished. Get some of this excess red off, and I'm going to rinse off this brush right now, just because I'm going to put it down for a minute, and even that little bit of paint in there, if it dried inside the brush bristles, that wouldn't be very fun. Alright, so we'll leave this one up here. Time to break out this finer detail brush. I find that the paint goes on a bit thicker with these with these detail brushes, and so I might only need one layer, we'll see. Alright, there's that. What I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna wipe off that little bit that's there. And I'm gonna switch now to our next red, and it's I don't know how to pronounce it. It's either a Pyrrole Red or a Pyrrole Red. Maybe Pyrrole, I don't know. Just a lighter, nice medium red compared to the pink that we'll be using at the end. I'm going to use this red now and do these more detailed parts, since I've already got this brush here. So I just wiped off that excess darker red and didn't bother rinsing it off because it's just another shade of red that we're using. I apologize, I'm not very talkative this evening. Guess it's been an eventful day, so this is my relaxing time as well, and so I just I enjoy just the process of painting it and seeing it fill in as you go along. It's oddly satisfying. Alright, I think I'll use this smaller brush on 2 more of the blocks here, and then I think I'll switch to the other brush again to do the larger spaces. There comes that air conditioning again, sorry about that. Be a little bit loud. I'm gonna just use this just on this part right here. Alright, and I think the rest will be good to use the larger brush. So I'm just going to wipe off this excess here. Set that brush to the side. Retake our larger one. Continue on where we left off here with this. And with this larger brush, it seems to spread the paint a bit more thin, and that's why I needed to do another layer. But with that other one, it slaps it on pretty thick. Looks like I could. No, it looks pretty good, and at least for the dark red that's dried already. It looks pretty good. If you really want, you could add a second layer of those smaller ones, but I think it's good on my end here. Okay, I'm just gonna mark which ones I need to do. Yours with your color guide though, you can use that. Alright, that looks like that's it. hope you're enjoying this video and enjoying your paint by number kit. If you are, I'd love it if you'd leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already, I'd love if you would subscribe to my channel so you can see future videos as well. You don't know how much that means to me when people will subscribe and watch my art videos. Feel free to share anything on social medias or with your friends or anything. I appreciate anything that people will do. So all of these designs I made digitally first on my computer before transferring them to an actual wood physical canvas here. And this is actually the very first time I painted this one myself. I mean, I did digitally paint it, but actual paint and a brush, this is my first time too. I find that being able to create them digitally first gives me more of a chance to do some trial and error, see what colors I like, see where I want the lines to be, all that kind of stuff. Because if you just kind of try to go for it first, then it's a lot of paint over paint over paint instead of just being able to erase at the click of a button. If you're interested in seeing that process, though, I don't have that for any of the paint by number kits, but I do have that included in some of my other time-lapse paintings. If you look at the Monument Valley time-lapse that I've done, you'll see how I digitally create the design first and then transfer those lines onto a piece of wood. So yeah, if that's something that would interest you, check out that video. I'll try to remember to create a card for it at this point, but no promises. I'm filming this on a Saturday night, but I might not get to editing it until well into the week, so it's easy for me to forget little things like that. I decided to go in and do a second layer of this red. It honestly really didn't look too bad just with that first layer, but it's fine. It doesn't take too much longer to do another layer, and sometimes you might miss a little spot, or one little spot might be thinner than the rest, and so just by doing an overall second layer, it just gives it a bit more continuity. need even just a little bit more of this paint. If you have any suggestions of other types of videos that you would like to see, I'm definitely up for ideas. I do a lot of time lapses, step-by-step tutorials. I do some product reviews in there as well. But if there's anything that you would like to see, feel free to leave me a comment and I'll see what I can do. Half the time, for me, the difficult thing is just finding time to make the videos. I have a lot of ideas for different paintings, but it's just finding that time to make those ideas come to life. When I first started thinking about these paint by number kits in the summertime, and now we're at the middle of October, and I'm hoping to get them out by the end of October. And that's just my first 6 designs. But in between being a parent and a full-time teacher, time gets spread pretty thin. So I take the hour a day I can get to myself and try to get as much done as possible. And speaking of an hour, we're coming up on an hour here. If you pause the video along, that's totally fine. Alright, that red is done. I am going to rinse off my brush just because we're moving to this pink color now, and the red could contaminate it a little bit. It probably wouldn't be that big of a deal, but it's easy just to rinse that off, dry it off here, and I just need a little drink of water. Alright, so our last color is a nice rose pink. Good name for this painting. Alright, so put some out there. Since I've got this brush, I'll just do some of these bigger pieces first. And the nice thing is now it's just anything that's left is going to be pink. I don't have to mark anything or do anything like that. I mean, you can double check on your paint guide what colors go where, just in case you might have missed another shade of red somewhere else. At first, when I was designing this rose, I had just 3 different shades of red, and it looked fine. It was all right. But I thought by adding this last shade of pink in here, it really makes all of the other colors stand out more as well. You know, it has a really good contrast against the darker red and even against the medium red. That just wasn't there with using just a lighter red instead of a pink. And the lighter red, it would have been too washed out. It wouldn't have been saturated enough for me, I think. And so I opted to go for this nice pink, rose pink color. I might have got too much of this pink out now, we'll see. For some reason, just judging the amount of paint I need to get out sometimes can be such a trial. And it kills me to waste paint. I hate wasting it. Alright, those two done. I'm going to do this one with the larger brush as well, and then I'm going to switch and use that smaller brush for the last few spots there. But I think I'm going to do 2 layers of this pink. So I'll do this square and then go back and do a layer on those other ones. It's a pretty opaque color though, it's not very transparent. Yeah, we have broke the hour mark now. If you have been following this whole time, thank you, and I hope this has been nice for you. Again, I'm sorry, I just haven't been much of a conversationalist this evening. It is a little bit hard when it's a one-way conversation. Alright, there's the first layer of those ones done. Go back, that is dry, so I'm going to go and do a second layer on this. Depending on how much paint this soaks up, I guess we might use all of this. All the paint I put out, we'll see. Alright, 2 layers of that done. That means I will be finished with this brush, so I'm just gonna wash that off here. Set that up there. Get out this detail brush here, and we'll fill in these last little spots. I act like it's going to be quick, but it'll be another 10 minutes. I'm probably going to need a little bit more paint. Just not quite enough. Alright, need a little bit more of that pink. Not a whole lot though, just try that and see where that gets us. little bit of red, or sorry, pink over into the red. Just gonna grab a little dab of that and just go over that spot. Alright, we'll rinse that off. Dry that off. And there you go. So if there's any spots right now that you wanted to add another layer to, or maybe you missed a little corner or something, now's the time to do that. If you happen to go over the black line at all, like I did in a couple of spots, what I usually do is just take this black pen, has a nice sharp point to it, and I'll just run it through that line where I went over, and it either will scrape up that paint or just kind of color over it, and that just kind of reinforces that nice black barrier that was there before. And if there's no other spots, then it's up to you how you want to display it. You can also paint the edges if you would like. This one I probably wouldn't though, because it already has a nice wood background to it here, and so I'd probably just leave it as is. If you really wanted to, you could paint in the background with your own paint. You could fill it in with even like a nice blue or a black or a gray or something, if you wanted to fill that in, but you don't have to. I'm gonna leave this as is. I like that natural wood background to it. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this paint by number kit and enjoyed painting it. And if you have any suggestions or reviews or comments, just let me know. Put a comment in this video below or send me an email at brian@briansloanartist.com. If you want, I'd love to see a photo of your finished paint by number kit. You can share that with me at that email or on one of my social media accounts. On Facebook, I am Brian Sloan Artist. On Instagram, it's at Brian Sloan Art. And other than that, that's it. Thank you for joining me, and we will see you next time on Brian Sloan Artist.